但是老母娘天上帝是否存在天？古人认为天是有情感能思想的存在者。孔子说过：或罪于天，无所导也。所作所为得罪了上天，有违天理，那么祈祷再多也是没有用的。予所否者，天厌之，天厌之，做了违背良心的事情，上天就会唾弃我为乎。为天为大，伟大啊！只有天最高大。天，孔子、孟子思想中，天似乎也是能安排一切的主宰。孟子也说过：天将降大任于斯人也，必先苦其心志，劳其筋骨，饿其体肤，空乏其身，情服乱其所为，所以动心忍性，增益其所不能。道大道无情，生育天地；大道无情，运行日月；大道无名，养养万物，无不知其名，想名曰道。清净经有一位真神，自从造天地以来，神的永能与神性是明明可知的，实际是眼不能见，但借着所造之物，就可以晓得，叫人无可推诿。罗马书第1章第20节，我们要如何向人证明真正有一位上帝的存在？虽然上帝的存在不需要也不可能用人的方法来证明，但是很多人都不由自主地相信宇宙当中必然有一位冥冥中的主宰。在我们生活经验中，当我们尽了所有的努力，常常会带着希望说谋事在人，成事在天，生死有命，富贵在天。当事情不太顺利时，我们也常安慰自己说天无绝人之路，若事情已经绝望了，我们只好看齐天不从人愿。最后事情若起死回生时，我们会高兴地说：天理昭昭，老天有眼。有一位真神上帝看不见的，并不表示就不存在。如空中有许多电波承载着美妙的音乐影像，虽然看不见电波，只要能借着适合的方法收音机电视，我们不但能知道电波的存在，而且能与这些电波有正确的接触。上帝虽然是我们肉眼所不能见，但借着他所创造的浩瀚宇宙和微妙自然，我们就能知道有一位真上帝，万物的创始者。有一位真神太初有道与神同在，道就是神。这道太初与神同在，万物是借着他造的，凡被造的没有一样不是借着他造的。新约约翰福音1:3，圣经创世纪1:01分。起初神创造天地，地是空虚混沌渊面黑暗，神的灵运行在水面上。神说要有光，就有了光。 神看光是好的，就把光暗分开了。
General 1:5
神称光为昼，称暗为夜，有晚上，有早晨，这是头一日。老母娘上帝阿拉万物之真宰无名上帝无量心虚至尊至圣三界十方万灵真宰老母娘，明上帝老母娘，生天生地生万物，为天地万物生灵之真主宰，又称无生老母，又称明上帝。上帝当知道，我们所敬奉的真神，就是四书五经所说的上帝。这真神两个字和上帝两个字，音虽不同，意思却是一样。就如大雅所说的音之谓丧失，特配上帝。朱子说，上帝就是天的主宰。小雅上说，按形体而论，就叫做是天；按主宰而论，就叫做是地。既是朱子和程子两个讲解，和真神两个字的意思是一样，就可以明白，我们所敬奉的真神，就是古年间的圣人所敬奉的上帝。基督教辟邪归正论第56页，老母娘清净经云：大道无形，生育天地，可知天地之源出自于道，未有天地先有此道。道德经首母章第52，天下幼始，以为天下母。既得其母，以知其子，父守其母，莫身不殆。皇母训子失戒，三戒为道如尊我如尊，生克制化老身份。三戒十方母为主，养育圣凡一灵根。道生一，一生二，二生三，三生万物。道创天地而与天地同在，自性佛，即是灵，看不见抽象，但是它却存在每一位十方善知识的身上。所谓道化成肉身，住在我们中间。天主佛与自性佛主耶稣对父神说：正如你父在我里面，我也在你里面，使他们也在我们里面。约翰17:21，道德经混成章第25，有物混成，先天理生，即悉了悉，独立而不改，周行而不殆，何以为天地母？吾不知其名，自之曰道，强为之名曰大。大曰尺，尺曰远，远曰反。故告大，天大，地大，人亦大。狱中有四大，而人居其一焉。人法地，地法天，天法道，道法自然。大万军之耶和华说：从日出之地到日落之处，我的名在外邦中必尊为大。在各处人必奉我的名烧香。马拉基书1:11，老子曰：道大，天大，地大，人亦大。 道德经混成章第25黄母老母娘即是无极老母，无极老祖，无生老母。黄母天父，天上的父耶和华万军之耶和华神，上帝真神阿拉真神主，真主造物主为皇上帝，明上帝道真理，老母娘慈训明灵义眼光上帝赐而真宝藏无量慈怀传一旨清虚大化救援皇至尊无上威灵力至圣心法不贤良三界法与慈云布十方共沐朝母娘万灵归真乐欢喜真载无为居天堂老母娘上帝阿拉万物之真载明上帝无量心虚至尊至圣三界十方万灵真载一点明上帝圣号之意以明是代表先天纯阳光明本性。所以明不为是超越现象界的明，且是内在的明。超越现象界的明为天命，内在的明为人具足的本性良知。上帝及宇宙的最高主宰，他是诸天神圣三世诸神之本，也是宇宙唯一至尊的神。他不但是灵性之根源，也是创造宇宙生育天地运行日月长养万物的大主宰。在人而言，亦如无人本具之本性良知，如一尧之大仁，虞舜之大巧，夏禹之大功，文王之道德，周公之大才，老子之感应，孔子之忠恕，释迦之能静，耶稣之博爱，穆圣之清真，观音之道慈，世子之喜舍，文殊之大智，普贤之大行，弥陀之平直，关圣之刚正，纯阳之虚明，五目之精中，等十方众圣，三世诸佛，一切奥义妙理，无量智慧功德，神通妙用，全是由上帝的性体中流露出来的。上帝的性体尽虚空遍法界，我们所看到的一切，所看不到的一切，全是上帝所变现的。所以我们时时刻刻都是与上帝同在的。上帝的灵光大而无极，范围天地，小而无内，细入无间。凡是日月星辰，江海井泉，白云彩虹，雨露霜雪，一花一木，一毫一蛋，宇宙森罗万象，全在上帝的性海中。无量心虚形容明上帝是无量智慧之根本，无量妙行之本处，无量功德之源头，是真空妙有，虚灵不灭的。至尊至圣世尊崇其位为至尊至贵，至高无上的。敬奉其德是圆融完美无缺的。三界十方，三界是指欲界、色界、无色界。十方指东西南北东南西北东北西南上下，表上帝的性体尽虚空遍法界无所不在。
X
三界28天图万灵真，在说明上帝的圣灵。 大而无极范围，天地小而无内气入无间，为万有之本源，万化的真主宰。所以明明上帝为一切生灵的大总持，在传统道场亦有尊称为无生老母或以母字为代表，其意义如同明明上帝，具有形上意与形象意，为万物苍生生命的大本源头。三界十方幻灵真载至尊至圣无量心虚言，其本体尊崇其位敬奉其德载主其尊，用在万灵变故恒，用在不无言为范积极形容其大说明其相明上帝母字与母同音同义，字形与父母字相近。母字的情义一点中加中是天下之大本，代表体是阴阳，代表用，体用合一为母。有体无用则至空，有用无体乃直相，即体即用即用即体，体用合一，即是佛也。二点点代表无极，点代表真如本心。三点中线拉直透出圈外，表示超乎太极之外，贯乎太极之中。四点母字正转90度，表示先天灵性之母。先天母乃外灵主宰，灵性之母，心无形，永久之如来自性。太极字的情义中是天下之大本，代表体。两点是阴阳，代表用。从代表无极，众生阴阳同直心，代表真如本心。太极图色教圣人对老母娘的尊称一点如叫天上帝、明上帝为皇上帝等，中庸交涉之理，所以是上帝。天命之谓请。诗经小雅明上帝，昭灵下土，大雅上帝灵汝无二耳心。书经汤告为皇上帝，降中于下民，若有恒性。二点佛教大日如来毗卢遮那无生等法华文具会本法身如来名毗卢，此翻译骗一切处。坛经一问品，若悟无生顿法，现西方只在刹那。大日经书亦云，梵音毗卢遮那者，是日之别名，即除安片名之意也。同16曰所谓毗卢那者，日也。如世间之日，能除一切暗明，而生长一切万物，成一切众生是也。今法身如来亦复如是，故以为喻也。三点道教无道无极天尊等，道德经有物混成，先天地生，即悉了悉，独立而不改，周行而不殆，可以为天下母。吾不知其名，自之曰道。天下万物生于有，有生于无。四点也叫真神耶和华天主天父上帝等。圣经创世纪，上帝照自己的形象创造了人。五点会叫阿拉真主。乌克兰经卷 以奉大人大慈真主之名，6点先天大道无生老母明明上帝无量心虚至尊至圣三界十方万灵真宰。真主古兰经，如果你问他们谁创造了天地，制服了日月，他们必定说真主296亿。如果你问他们谁从云中降下雨水而借雨水使已死的大地复活呢？他们必定说真主2963。真主古兰经，他是真主，是独一的主。112真主是万物所仰赖的。1122他不生，也不被生。1123没有任何物可以与他匹敌。1124真神道上帝生命在他头，这生命就是人的光，内光是真光，照亮一切生在世上的人。这等人不是从血气生的，不是从情欲生的，也不是从人意生的，乃是从上帝生的道成了肉身，住在我们中间，充充满满的有恩典有真理。约翰福音1491314耶和华
Yah,
耶和华
Yahweh /
的称呼，在原文之意义，乃是自有拥有的他，亦即不生不灭诸天之国与神之国，神为诸天之国之上的主宰。母居里天，在诸天之上，为万灵真宰。诸天之国与神之国，宇宙能量，整个宇宙充斥着舞动的能量。除了此舞动的能量，我们的宇宙一无所有。在某个时间点，这些能量分成许多有知觉的能量与无知觉的能量，从而有以分为2，就对立。斯瓦米维达帕若提
Swami Vedanbharati.
者着果于家约翰一书第4章第13节，神将他的灵赐给我们，从此就知道我们是住在他里面，他也住在我们里面。约翰一书3:24遵守神命令的，就住在神里面，神也住在他里面。我们所以知道神住在我们里面，是因他所赐给我们的圣灵。神的灵住在我们里面，何处？约翰一书与约翰福音在文体上颇相似，因此可能是来自于同一个作者。福音书作者约翰，神上帝老母娘的灵住在我们里面。圣经创世纪提到上帝创造天地万物的情形。创造人时，耶和华神用地上的尘土造人，将生气吹在他的孔里，他就成了有灵的活人。创世纪2:15教传道国家所言正法典藏灵山柳之敬亭主人翁真主人真如等等。儒家所言大学之道三人之行天命等等。道家所言古神荼毒玄牝众妙之门等等。回教 所言阿米目、亮目、米目回回之地等等。基督教沿十字架用或施洗、窄门等等。对于以上所谈之名词，没有求道的人是无法体悟的。所以说摸得着根的成佛祖，摸不着根的瞎修行而道，就是万教所要找的根。个根如没有经过佛师尊名师指点，是无法找到的。可见求道的重要。经典印证亦无有正法掩藏，涅槃妙心，实相无相，为妙法门，不立文字，教外别传。二佛在灵山莫远求，灵山只在汝心头，人人有个灵山塔，好像灵山塔下修。正法密传世尊在灵山会上，拈花示众，事实众皆默然，唯迦摄尊者错言为笑。世尊曰：无有正法掩藏，涅槃妙心，实相无相，为妙法门，不立文字，教外别传。复主摩诃迦摄。世尊至多子塔前，命摩诃迦摄分作令座，以僧伽梨为之。遂告曰：吾以正法掩藏，密付于汝当护持。古灯会元卷1七佛释迦牟尼佛著僧伽梨比丘3之一，华译为众句11，又称为大一，由9条至25条制成，是作大法会，或是见国家元首重臣时所穿的。正法密传会能及会祖义。三不入世，足以袈裟遮为，不令人见。未说金刚经，至因无所住而生其心，慧能言下大悟一切万法不离自性。遂起祖言和其自性本自清净和其自性本不生灭和其自性本自具足和其自性本无动摇和其自性能生万法组之物本性。谓慧能曰：不是本心，学法无益。若是自本心，见自本性，即名丈夫天人师佛。
The lamp in the body is the eye. The lamp in the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light.
马太福音第6章22，眼睛就是身上的灯。你的眼睛若了亮，全身就光明。台中国际机电会中华民国总会2001中英对照圣经新约全书。
The Holy Bible New Testament Chinese and English Bilingual Edition.
窄门圣经马太福音第7章1、3。
Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it.
你们要进窄门，因为引到灭亡。那门是宽的，路是大的，进去的人也多。台中国际机电会中华民国总会2001中英对照圣经新约全书。
The Holy Bible New Testament Chinese and English Bilingual Edition.
窄门圣经马太福音第7章1-4。
Because narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it.
因到永生，那门是窄的，路是小的，找到的人也少。台中国际机电会中华民国总会2001中英对照圣经新约全书
The Holy Bible New Testament Chinese and English Bilingual Edition 048L。
佛家言不走正门，进入四生六道，开生耳牛马羊狗之类，卵生眼鸡飞禽之类，狮生口鱼虾水族之类，化生蚁马与蚊虫之类，泥丸公气天神不期在世投胎为人，认母归根修道，目的在离苦的乐，唯有认母归根，方能超生了死生，登圣域贤官，永脱苦海。母自垂武，教皇母慈是这恩师，一指点杀身难报，重如山恩似海，实际心怀若不受师指点，怎能脱苦，又怎能了生死？不受好灾，上超祖，下应孙，全凭师力，各应当报大恩。尊师安排皇母10届第7届，五教圣人提出了诚恳的呼吁，一点穆罕默德可兰经文难了死，素拜真师反摇西2点耶稣基督圣经空是玄真义。赞美诗词作高歌3点，太上老君道德5前卫严谨，素拜公常早归根4点，释迦牟尼真空非空法非法，如然自在是这5点，孔老夫子雄神之化之其旨。定静安律见本源，古人云白藕绿叶红莲花。三角原来是一家3大圣人发庆礼，得了跳庙回老家，悟又本末，是有终始，之所先后，则信道矣。信教不爱修道，但不宜只有信教，但勿修道，本末倒置。实在可惜，连老母娘的奥妙道，在使逆东郭子问于庄子曰：所谓道，呜呼！在庄子曰：无所不在。东郭子曰：其而后可。庄子曰：在蝼蚁。曰：何其下？也曰：在蹄。百。曰：何其欲？下且曰：在瓦替。曰：何其欲？甚且曰：在始。逆。东郭子不应。庄子曰：夫子之问也，故不及直。正或之问于监视律兮也。每下欲况，汝为莫必，无乎陶物。只道若是，大言亦然。周天贤3者，一名同时，其之义也。庄子之备有第22老母娘的心声，13山坡母子礼，乃不得已。皇母训子10戒，1戒亦当初天未分混沌，未看妙明明无人，或空空一团，有6亿元佛子先天同聚，无忧愁无烦恼，自在安然，先兄弟先姐妹生来伴，随母来随母去，不离身边，极乐国任逍遥，随意玩耍，成青龙。 化彩凤无量尊严，不惧寒不惧暑，无数无还无阴阳，无对待，至理纯然。暇无事任遨游，先天妙境能卷来，或下棋，或将琴弹，吃的是仙草点琼，将玉一穿的是登云鞋，仙衣仙山，老母娘的心声。二论无极为圣域至善宝，静静而因空，万法万类根源，自从那骄子会气数以道为母，我命七佛治理坤乾，万八在气数并天使成就，又在指丑会满地是完全清气，升为天寒不至星斗浊气，降凝为地湖海山川，至凝会天地交日月和照会阴阳和阴均万类生全，此即是先天妙开辟之本，无极静态及动狂及坤乾老母娘的心声。三道即理理即道虚灵之妙道生一生二又生三，一本散万殊哉，自无入有其奥妙，是神天意难尽言。天即成地即立，万物其北东土，无人焉，缺少女男，那时节为母，我无奈之苦，方舍我救六子七将，凡间屡次的差援国东土，而下来一次反一次不肯治，凡无奈何为母，我造下解救三山多红醉了菩萨，佛南设一个大仙池，其来洗澡，趁机会仙衣邪收回礼，天众佛自救醒来，不见母面，又不见仙衣邪，可在哪边老母娘的心声？四为娘我悲痛泪原子呼唤耳众等速东奔，莫要再脸，如若是仙衣邪教与尔等耳，哪个亦不肯再是至凡折树枝和树叶，遮寒地冷饿了失踪国子，可引清泉众佛子如要回悲哀悲叹，问母我至何时方把家还母？言答三期末，大开普度，轻烧书清寂，信轻度佛缘，降道乃为救良善，降劫乃为收恶上，血泪以于叹子归。需用真心体会老母娘的心声，末节时期，把握今现效圣法前，不畏考验，坚守愿解共不龙华，极乐国任逍遥，随意玩耍成青龙，化彩凤无量尊严，在领天极乐之天国里，任意逍遥游玩，随意玩耍，成其青龙，化作彩色凤凰，任意去来，显现无量尊贵与庄严。不惧寒不惧暑，无数无还无阴阳，无对待，至理纯然理天，无寒暑冷热，总是下是温度，无拘无束，亦无阴阳之对待，只有纯然一团理气。理天体较多一切阴阳对待，故无阴阳寒暑之分别对待，自性至理纯然，通达无碍，故无束无管。暇无事任遨游，先天妙境能卷来，或下棋，或将琴弹弦。暇无事则任意遨游，观赏先天美妙景致，或下棋娱乐，或弹琴消遣，理天之境不能卷之事。 举凡一切活动，皆随心之所至，意之所乐而为之。吃的是仙桃果琼浆玉蜜，穿的是穿云鞋仙衣仙衫，吃的是仙桃仙果，喝的是琼浆玉蜜，穿的是仙衣仙鞋。仙桃果含桃之果实，亦称仙桃。含桃实洲际东海有山，名古所山，上有大桃树，盘曲3000里，曰寒木。武帝内传7月7日，西王母将以仙桃4颗与地，第10折收其核，欲种之。母曰：此桃3000年一时，中下地薄，种之不生。帝乃止。论无极为圣域至善宝境，尽而精通万化万类根源理，天是至善宝地，是无极的境界，至圣之相遇。此地至虚至静，感而遂通万物之造化，是一切万物之根源所在。自从那骄子会气数以道为母，我命七伯治理坤乾一元12会子会开天丑会气地寅会生人卯会辰会巳会午会未会申会人灭酉会地灭戌会天灭亥会混沌每会各10800年。一元共129600年，七伯治世。三伯收元，七伯治世。南方是爱伯6000年，北方生玉伯4800年，即10800年。卯会东方甲三春伯3720年，西方有长庚伯7080年，即10800年。辰会西北方空谷伯5284年，东南方龙野伯5516年，即10800年。四会东北方祭天伯5800年，伏羲是代理伯500年，即6300年。五会中三伯收元然登古伯青阳旗，掌天盘。莲慈会释迦文伯弘阳旗，掌天盘。灵山会弥勒古伯白阳旗，掌天盘。龙华会万八在气数足天使成就，又在指丑会满地是完全子会开天10800年，天成就丑会气地10800年，地完全智慧会数景。至是圆满，母会元灵收回，又会灭地，戌会灭天，亥会重回混沌清气，生为天坛不至星斗浊气，讲名为地土海山川清清之气，上升则为天。满天不满者何叹星斗，此为气界所居之处。重浊之气下降则为地，大地为重浊之气所凝结而成，形成了土海山川，此为象界所居之处。至阴会天地交日月和，照会阴阳和阴均万类生全子会开天，丑会气地，以完成阴阳二气之分判。寅会之时，天地阴阳之气相交，日月别相交替， 阴阳因均而育生万物品类，此即是先天妙开辟之本无极静态及动房及坤乾，此即是先天妙理开天辟地之本源，无极主静，属理天。太极主动，属气天；黄极主化，属象天。道即理即道虚灵之妙，道生一，一生二，二又生三，道即是理，理即是道，至虚至灵。万物本源之奥妙运用，道本虚灵，能生一，一能生二，二能生三，三能生万物。无极生太极，太极生两仪，两仪生三才，三才者天地人。万物因之而生，生化万物图。
://e://LCC_LCC_2/
意图象棋，生化5万点。
JPG
天既成地既立，万物其北东土里，无人焉，缺少女男，天地既成，万物以其备。这就是象天，亦称作佛世界、堪普世界、苦海、此岸东土等等名称，不一而足。这是界被创立之后，尚无人间，缺少男女，整个世界乏人管理统治。那时劫为母，我无奈之苦，方舍我救六子七降凡间。由于天地有定数，子会开天，丑会辟地，寅会需要有人降生。时机已至，老母娘亦有无奈之处，才舍下皇母之九六元胎国子，以其降临凡间，接受种种历练，屡次的拆元国东土，而下来一次反一次不肯治藩，于是老母娘每次拆遣元国子下凡降临东土，每来一次又回去一次，就是不肯留下来治理凡间东土。无奈何为我造下血就三山波洪碎了菩萨国，身在无可奈何之下，老母娘只好造下铁酒。在三山坡洪碎了原本就是佛菩萨的原胎国子，设一个大天池旗来洗澡，趁机会先一邪收回礼天。老母娘还设一个大天池，好让大家一起来洗澡，趁机会将大家的仙衣仙鞋都收回礼天。众佛子就醒来，不见母面，又不见仙衣鞋可在哪边。众佛子就醒之后，却见不到老母娘，又不见仙衣仙鞋，为娘我悲痛泪原子呼唤耳众等速东奔，莫要再敛老母娘，因为要与众原胎国子分离，故而心中感到悲痛而流泪，并且呼唤众佛子速速往东土而去，千万别再留恋于理天之舒适自在。如若是仙衣鞋交与二等儿那个亦不肯再是临凡老母娘，若把仙衣仙鞋交给原胎国子，则就没有一个肯降临凡间留下来治理世界。 折树枝和树叶遮寒地冷，饿了吃冬果子和饮冰泉，到了凡间。若天气寒冷，就折些树枝和树叶来遮盖身体，以御寒地冷。若肚子饿了，就取公子果子吃；口渴了，就取清凉泉水喝。众果子如调回悲哀悲叹问母，我至何时方把家还？众果子听了老母娘如此吩咐，皆如吊失了魂魄一般，悲伤地哀嚎叹息，纷纷问老母娘：我们到什么时候才能回家呢？母言答：3期末大开普渡，清烧书清寂，信清度佛缘。老母娘回答说：等到3期末节大开普渡的时候，老母娘会亲自烧书寄信给大家，并且亲自来度化众缘胎果子，告一回家之路。家乡信书皇母训子十戒以及千佛圣训，都是皇母烧书信度化果子众生。众儿女今由一悲生大放为母，我写和同步语。黄元听了老母娘的话语，众缘胎果子心中有存惊疑，悲伤地放声大哭。老母娘见众果子如此惊疑悲痛，于是写下了合同给众缘果子，以作为将来回天之凭证。求道时的合同皆是凭证。自此，我缘果子东土而分至世界为男女在一人间，从此皇母之缘胎果子便向东土奔驰而去，点治理世界，或为男，或为女，并传递人间烟火。母子分各东西，好不难过。自此，我众果子受尽熬煎子各分东西，令老母娘内心好难过。而众果子自此以后，却受尽无限的折磨与煎熬。堂弟白骨空失名利无煎熬，安的闲鱼不。至今时区只算6万年载美，想而在世苦母心难安。自三国一别到现在，须只算来已有6万年了。自营会生元以来，至今未知出，已将近6万年时光。每每想起众果子在世间受苦受难，皇母内心就难以安舒。一别千古，一别6万多年。今时夏运已至，为母降道差3佛半末后普渡收元，现在时运已经到了，为换回在世间受苦的缘果子，老母娘降下了大道，指引众生回天之路，并差遣3佛办理末后一佛的普渡收元。3佛燃灯普佛、释迦牟尼佛、弥勒佛，如何与老母娘同在一任理时修一理，不依人修道，任指真一人一出错一理，是良心2行公了，愿天不能言，地不能语，人能弘道，非道弘人。结论。 而的敦厚善良，造就母的完美圆满，儿的光明坦荡，照耀母的灵明清虚，儿的柔和宁静凝聚母的慈悲感应，儿的知足感恩建立母的欢乐喜乐，儿的无私无我辉映母的无边无量，儿的屹立不摇弃入母的永垂不朽本尊与分身关系。
On call.
资料来源网址
1_1_2_1_4_4_8_305 ndroducdioIslandudao.html
先天大道简介中英对照
http://www.category/category6/c63006.htm Introduction to DAO
先天大道简介
Introduction to DAO
中英对照先天大道简介一和为先天大道二道与我有什么关系？三求道是求什么？四求道对我有什么好处？五具备什么条件才可以求道？六求道对我的生活有什么影响？七道的宝贵有什么印证？一和为先天大道，先天大道又简称道。我们若仔细地去观察，心窍开悟之后，就可发觉宇宙间森罗万象皆是杂而有序，而自然界万事万物的运转也都有一定的法则。这天地人是万物的真主宰，就是道。道乃在天地生成之前即已存在，故曰先天大道。道者理也，理就是真理。在天地人万物未生以前，道即已存在，而道能生天生地生人生万物万类。在天地人万物毁灭之后，道不会毁灭。道因为无去无来，不生不灭，乃代表着宇宙间亘古不变的真理。道的本体，也就是宇宙自然的本体，在混沌未判之初，宇宙间只是一团灵妙理，无天无地无人，也没有语言和文字，所以我们实无法以任何语言文字或思虑来形容它。故大道无名强名曰道，我们也是勉强用到这个名词来代表它。在天地万物生成之后，道又能贯穿于宇宙万事万物之中，使一切的自然现象均能呈现和谐有条不紊的运转。这就是道的妙用。道大理为，我们虽然无时无刻离不开道的本体和妙用，却又很不容易去认识它。因此在2-3千年前，各教圣人应运出世，各化一方，针对当时天时地利及众生的根器，留下千经万典，传下诸多去恶 从善的修持法门，同时也让芸芸众生认识了冥冥中宇宙万事万物均有一个真正的主宰，或称为上帝，或称为造化，或称为天主。我们称其为道或无生老，均是一名而同义。我们对道有了深一层的认识和体悟之后，就会了解天地间实无一物不是道之本体与妙用的合一。因此，道虽然涵盖各大教门的经义，为千门万教的总源头，确实不局限于宗教的领域里。而上帝或老也不只代表着一切宗教的最高信仰中心，更是天地万事万物万类的根本源头与最高主宰，其宇宙间永恒不变的真理之道。所以我们今天有机会了解什么是先天大道，不只找到了各大教门的最高信仰中心，也找到了宇宙的根本源头与最高主宰，更能对宇宙至高无上的真理有一个初步的认识。道之真义，在先天之先不为先，在后天之后不为后。即大上有可量，即为上有可止；为道即大不可量，即为不可止。故所以大无不包，为无不入，无所不贯，无所不通，无所不彻。贯彻了天地人万物万类，贯彻了33天外，贯彻了千经万典，贯彻了千法万法，贯彻了千教万教，贯彻了千佛万祖，贯彻了我之一身。此乃显天大道宝贵的真义，人人必须知真觉，亦即是人人与我，我与人人良心之行也。此乃万众一心，万国一家，世界大同，此先天大道之宝贵也。二，道与我有什么关系？道的宝贵在于它大而无所不包，细而无所不入。天地生成之后，道贯穿于天地万物万类，使得日月星辰之运转各有其时，4时之交替，万物之消长各有其序。而最宝贵的是，各天地万物的主宰，同时也是我们人一生之主宰，曰性理，使得我们不学而能看，能听，能吃，能动。因此，我们不只要探求天地间的治理，更要回头认识我们身上固有的真理。故先天大道即是性理真传。道的宝贵，并不在于它有什么神秘稀有或特殊之处，而是在于它平时，但我们却时时刻刻离不开它的本体与妙用。我们反观一下自身，就会发觉我们身体的结构是非常精密和奥妙的。我们轻轻地握一下手，就算是这么简单的一个动作，其中所牵涉到的所有关节物理作用、能量、化学反应、神经系统资料讯息之传输及 脑不分析、判断和命令之下达。以目前全世界的科技知识和文明水准，也无法一一表达出来。但是我们做出的动作的能力，却完全不因个人知道上了程度的差异而有任何影响。无论是学识多丰富的学者，或是目不识丁贩夫走卒，无论是成人，或是刚出生不久的婴儿，都可以轻而易举地做出的动作。人人与生俱来，不学而知，不学而能，无增无减的良知良能，就是主宰我们一生的道。我们有学习而得到的知识和才能，有忘记的时候，有疏远的时候，而道的本体和妙用，不用学习，不用思考，大而能主宰宇宙的运作消长，小而能主宰我们一生之视听言动。我们有而不知其有，用而不知其用，却又无时无刻不能缺少它的不增不减，本自具足一切。我们身上固有的道，因为就在我们身上，又称作自性老。我们了解了个主宰天地万物的道，在我们身上就有，它的作用不应受到我们赞美或否认而有任何增减。无论种族、肤色、国籍、宗教信仰或贫贱富贵，均无分无别。因此，我们能求得先天大道，不只找到了宇宙的根本源头，也找到了不生不灭的真我。不只认识了宇宙，也认识了我一生的真正主宰。不只追求到了宇宙之治理，也找回了我身上本有的真理与良知良能。先天大道的根源是在我身上，原来固有的是我由先天带来的良知良能，即是我的良心。我的良心即是天心，天心即是道心，此心无形无相，即是真空。真空之妙，空而不空，空中妙有。妙有者，生天生地生人生万物万类之大本也。妙用者，万灵真在也，主宰天地人万物万类之真主宰，亦即是主宰我之一身。故曰道在无身，一切万能；道离无身，此身在无一能。先天大道如此宝贵，乃人人必须追求之道也。三求道是求什么？静心观察我们所存在的这个宇宙，我们往往会赞造物主的神奇。自然界每一刻皆有无数的事物在同时运转，而其整体却又是那么协调。我们身上的这个真理不也是一样吗？每一分一秒，我们身上皆有无数的生化反应、物理作用等同时发生。道的妙用分布在我们身上，不用学习，不用思考，其作用虽成千上万，合起来却只有一个自我。一切有条不紊，自然而成。道在无身， 运用自如，在眼能视，在耳能听，在口能言，在鼻能闻香臭，在身能运用情动做事，此即道在我身之妙用。所以我们了解了道不只主宰这天地万物，更主宰我们一生。宇宙根本源头最高主宰与我一生主宰，并非二也。道的本体无形无相，我们肉眼看不到它，手也摸不到它，但它却无时无刻不在发挥其妙用，更进而随着天时及环境而发展出语言文字经典及造福人类的文明。此即是我们良知良能之作用。一般人不了解道在于我们自身的本体和妙用，只模糊意识到它的存在，便以灵魂代表它。我们称其为自性老，因其没有生灭，也不会毁坏。我们也称其为真我，此真我乃是最富足、最圆满、最光明、最完美、永恒不朽的。现在我们来生一看，看得见摸得着有形有相的肉体，能不能代表我把一个人生命中不同阶段的照片拿来比较，我们就可发觉，面貌是无时无刻不在变化的。我们一般均习惯以相貌认人，但相貌却不是永恒的。我们的肢体也不是真我，某些人不幸失去了一只手或一只脚，仍是好好的活着。我们的内脏呢？现在科学昌明，其自己能把动物的心脏成功地植入人体。我们不能因此说，这人不是他自己了。就算头的脑细胞，从我们一出生就开始不断的在坏死、减少和变化之，因此有形有相的肉体只是真我的一个工具而已。肉体虽然看似真实，却无时无刻不在改变之中，不拘数十年又变成一堆黄土。因它不是永恒的，我们称之为假我。对于真我和假我有所了解之后，我们也就可以了解我们为什么要求道了。如今我们非常幸运能有机会求得先天大道，求得的就是三宝。三宝简单明了，但也博大精深，其内容在求道时会详细解说。现在只简单的提出两点。首先，求道就是直接点出了真正永恒不朽的真我，也就是良心本性的发。在物质文明远较精神文明昌盛的今日，假若迷失真我，我们的人生将有如行尸走肉。若是认假为真，更是我们为了盲目满足假我而做出害己害人的事情，造成自己在世时与死后的灾祸。因此，求道启发了我们内在本的真我良心，真我假我协调融合，使我们的人生不论存没， 都是平安喜乐、自在充实而有意义。其次，求道也就是开启了我们身上的正门，又称良心之门、智慧之门、慈悲之门。各门非常的重要。当我们要离开一间房子时，自然由大门离去。如果此门无法开启，而被迫从窗户或阳台跳出时，就可能会摔断腿。我们的肉体就像一间房子，真我灵性就像是房子的主人。当有一天肉体要毁坏时，真我灵性若不得正门而出，被迫另寻旁门，其恐惧与焦虑是无法形容的，这也导致了死后的痛苦与不安。因此，我们可以发现到，绝大多数的人临终时，其肉体皆显现山僵硬、恐惧、无助与挣扎之相。求道就是开启我们个生来死去之正门，也就是通天大路。因此，我们今天很幸运能求道，求得三宝，打开灵性通天之正门，可以让我们找回真我，认识我自己身上的道，自然以良心作为待人物之准则，使人生更有意义，更进而解决生死大事，得到超生了死的保障。100年之后，回到我们的来故家乡。所以先天大道又是回天之道。先天大道之宝贵，即是千经万典不如一点。此典打开玄关正门佛门，天堂大路一步直超级的永生之道。此典宝贵，超佛越祖，超经越典，超越天地。得到这一点宝贵，它是诸经之师、诸法之王、诸佛之天地之，故曰超生了死级的永生，不毁不灭之先天大道也。此乃即是人人原来固有的，必须返回天之道也。四求道对我有什么好处？我们今天很高兴能有这个机缘求道，能够开启良心之门、智慧之门、通天之正门，这是第一步。这宝贵的道还能带给我们终生受用不尽的福之益，离苦的乐。人生在世，遭受种种之苦恼，就其根源皆起因于迷失了真我。求道首先就是让我们认识人人身上固有的道，找回我们本有至真至善至美具足圆满永恒不朽的真我，在日常言行之中发挥真我，使我们一举一动皆能合于理，止于至善，自然不会受周遭的人事物所左右，我们的心也就不会患得患失。心为一身之主，我们既然在心境上有所提升，自然不会与邪恶之事相感应，则不相随心转，还可以改变命运，趋吉避凶，朝向光明，使我们得到真正的喜悦、逍遥自在。 二多地南自有人类文明以来，道的真义便代代单传独授，其没落贯穿了早期的主要文明，如中国、印度等。奈何近百年来人类受物欲所逼，在空前繁荣的物质文明中逐渐迷昧了良心，甚至竟将制造威力极大的杀人武器。回顾数千年人类历史，在近代短短数十年间，便发生了2次世界大战，无数挑战，伤亡无数。滥用科技文明，同时也损害了自然环境，造成大气臭氧层之破坏，全球性气候的改变，人心之变，干造了天灾人祸连连。人类已为自己酝酿了一个空前的浩劫，因此上帝洪恩慈悲，特将大道谱传于世，以挽救良善。求道以后，我们时刻存着道心，以良心待人处事。当遇有人力不可挽救的灾祸时，只要诚心使用三宝，必能灾必劫，逢凶化吉。此事验证甚多，不胜枚举。3超生了4人生，有如一段苦乐相参的旅程。遭受生存竞争、衰老、病痛、死亡等困苦，人皆难免。而人间种种欢乐，又往往是短暂易变的。尤其当旅程结束时，终究成空，归宿渺茫，更不禁令人凄毒怅惘。是以智慧者有见于此，乃以超生了死，追求真实永恒的人生意义，为人生至高之目标。古代先修后的，因此古人为求超生了死，尽毕生之力苦修苦行，仍难以访得名师达成心愿。如今大道谱传，先道后修，在求道过程中，天命名师一指，开启了我们通天正门，先赋予超生了死的保障。我们得道以后，认识了真我，以真我为主宰，远离邪心妄念，让我们的心念、言语、行为，无论待人处事，皆合于良知。100年之后，真我灵性自然返回故家乡，永享平安喜乐。4成圣成贤求道，也就是为我们种下一个成圣成贤的正因道种。只要我们以智慧慈悲心境灌溉它，它必然萌芽开花结果。在此功利主义弥漫的黑暗时代，大道乃是光明的灯塔。求道修道，不仅让我们能够独善其身，更使我们有机会可以兼善天下。求道之后，只要我们时刻抱着道心、良心，在日常生活中真诚实践道的精神，不计个人得失荣辱，努力使周围每一个人都可得享道的好处，让道的光明照亮每一个角落，尽其一生精进不懈，则在世即成就圣贤事业，归天之后 后，必正圣贤，果位无疑。先天大道的宝贵就是天道天命，天命就是三曹名师，名师一点玄关开，打开正门佛祖来。天堂非在我身外，天上地下我都在。此乃先天大道的尊至贵至宝也。先天大道，天命宝贵，三曹名师这一点妙至极意，非是在言语文字相生音可得，非是在千经万典上的，非是在讲经说法上的，非是在是指变聪上的，非是在博学才能上的，非是在才高八斗上的，以上皆是生死法对待法，非是超生了死脱对待了生死之法也。此次级的先天大道妙用妙能的宝贵，其妙极矣。此者是无师智，此智是妙智妙慧，此智此慧是我本来固有的，由先天带来的，亦即是在找回来天地人万物万类未生以前我的初心，即我良心天心道心老心也。先天大道之妙，此妙之贵，妙不容言，不学而知，不学而能，亦即是先天带来的先知先觉妙用妙能。此知此觉此能此用，不用言语文字声色，不用思想，不用念头，不用言听是动，而生天地人万物万类。生天地人万物万类之后，这天地人万物万类，实可分妙，也离不开其妙用妙能，故曰万灵真主宰也。设若天离开先天大道之妙用妙能，则河汉星斗乱序，日月无光，亦不能轮转，则阴阳二气不能流通，万物万类世界的众生，人人皆不得其生存。设若大地离开先天大道之妙用妙能，这金木水火土不能相配，则险象丛生，山崩地裂，海水枯干，亦使万物万类世界的众生人人不能得其生存。设若人离开先天大道之妙用妙能，则寸步难行，眼不能看，耳不能听，口不能言，总之全身不能动作。100日之后，成了一堆臭骨臭泥土。此乃先天大道妙用妙能的宝贵，妙至极矣。设若觉悟认识先天大道之妙用妙能的支持而实行，即是天人合一，天人一体治理，绝言妙不容言，不是死后成佛，当体即佛矣。故曰如来佛，如是佛也。此乃的先天大道修先天大道之好处。勿具备什么条件才可以求道？求道既然能够带给我们终生受用无尽的好处，我们今日能有机会求道，会不会显得太容易了？事实上，我们能得闻先天大道，首先要感谢上帝的恩慈， 将自古不倾泻的大道不传于世，使我们有机会得此天之道。另一方面，我们本身也必须具备足够的条件，祖上有德，根基深厚，佛缘成熟，才能够顺利求道。此外，我们必须向宇宙至高无上的造物主上帝发一个良心愿，此愿可归纳为3个要点：一得道以后，愿以明具并实践道的精神，也就是日常生活所思所言所行，皆愿以良心作为依归。二得道以后，愿以能力所及，助周围需要我们帮助的人，愿意多了解道的意义，并让更多的人蒙受天道的福祉。三得道以后，绝不将求得的3宝告知任何人。3宝必须在庄严的求道过程中，天命名师传授给我们，才有真实意义。若由我们泄露给其他人，则不但毫无意义、毫无效果，我们自己也违反了天律。的良心愿合乎人人本具天赋的良知良能，所以我们人人都能够做到。真诚实践良心愿，也必须滋润我们求道时种下的智慧、慈悲、清净之正因道种，使它顺利萌芽、开花、结果，才不至虚度这千载难逢的求道修道良辰。值得一提的是，我们能顺利求道，原因之一即是沾了祖德的光，是故上天开恩，只要我们修道有恒，则我们的祖先也有机会可以求道超生得救。我们的子孙亦的印地，对父母祖先尽大孝，这是最好的机会。只要具备以上条件，则无论任何国界、种族、宗教信仰的人，都可以求道。欲求得先天大道，脱出轮回之苦、地狱之灾，世间的穷通受忧、鳏寡孤独、生老病死苦，而返天堂永享天伦之乐者，必须我有得遇6万年良辰佳期的幸运。我本人心地善良，我有先天根基深厚，也就是我本人前世做的功德善事很多，此即天缘。我本人祖先有功德，做善事，此即祖上有德。我牧人遇到引导师度我得道，此佛缘已至。也就是前生我们一同做过功德善事，或一同有修过宗教，今生遇天道降世，一同得道修道，此乃佛缘已至。6求道对我的生活有什么影响？现今正值上天恩开，先天大道普传，拯救良善之时，故普传方式皆以方便善巧，与众生契机为原则，因此求道不会对我们正常的生活造成任何负面影响。这与以往许多人苦修苦练，甚至出家的修行方式有很大差别。也正因为如此， 先天大道能在日新月异的现代，适应社会的各个阶层，传布到世界的各个角落，使人人皆有共沾天恩的闻大道的机会。关于求道对生活有什么影响，我们就以下几点来看：一、与任何宗教没有冲突，道代表着天地万物及我们一生之最高主宰与真理。不止在各大门创始之前，甚至在天地未生以前，道就已经存在了。因此，任何教门，只要其教义是追求真理及实践良心，就不会与道有任何冲突。事实上，不止宗教，只要我们以探求真理的角度去观察，则自然界万事万物皆能与道吻合与印证。若我们原有某种宗教信仰，求道将不会造成任何抵触，也不会使我们背弃原有的信仰，反而让我们对真理的探求有更深一层的体认。二、以良心经为最高规戒每一个人生活环境中的文化习俗、时代背景、法律条文及价值观念都不完全相同，因此没有任何一个具体的规戒或条文能够适用于所有的人。所以求道后的规戒着重在我们每个人真我良心之实践，由真我良心主宰自己，而不是在经典之背诵上及律法之钻研上下功夫。三、不照良心愿行。有和透过很重要的一点，求道并非从外在加给我们良心与真理，而是借着开启我们智慧慈悲之门，找回我们身上固有的真理，让天理良心自然流露。因此求道后，所有真修实行之人，皆是自动自发的。师父，求道后，若我们不照良心愿而行，并非将出现任何外力来强制我们遵行此愿，而是将受到自己良心的谴责，由真我良心督促自己，而自然改过向善。四、圣凡间修真我之实践，并不局限于教堂或寺庙之中。因此，现今大道普传，并不要我们家舍业到深山古寺之中修炼，而是在不影响家庭、工作、学业之正常情况下圣凡间修。在日常生活中，时时刻刻一言一行，皆能以天理良心为依归，就是真我之实践。务由提升自己而兼善天下，求道后会使我们生活更充实，心灵更和谐。而更重要的是，我们每一个人尽一己之力，借自身之提升，影响周遭之人事物，继而汇成一股力量，在这举世天理良心日趋沦丧之潮流中，匡正人心，力挽狂澜。如此必能早日实现先天大道普传之宗旨。 及弥勒佛的原慈大愿化污则的人间为人间净土，化纷乱的世界为世间天国。七道的宝贵有什么印证道是宇宙的至高真理？它的作用贯穿了天地万物万类，更是我们一生之最高主宰。真正了解了这一点，我们就会体认到，道是随时随处可以被印证的。许多贤贤得道之后，发出了大诚心、大信心、大智慧，真修真行，皆能参悟到，不止在各教经典之中可以印证到，其实在任何时间空间、万事万物我们之一身，甚至一草一木，皆离不开道的本体和妙用。体认至此，自然能发出永不退转之道心。而尚未求道或刚求道者，则需借助于一些具有形象看得到、感受得到的印证，以奠定初步的信心。依任何人，只要有求道，经过身淡天命之名师点开玄关正门，传授三宝者，无论其功德高深为末，死后皆是身软如棉，面色如生，灵性由正门归天，东不品湿，下不腐臭，甚有多至数日不变，一腔满志者。目前的科技文明和医学知识还未进步到足以解释这种现象，但却无法否认个事实的存在。这种现象虽曾出现在某些宗教中，但极其罕见而珍贵，而求道之人除信道不笃于反道拜德者，不敢定论外，其余则比比皆是。肉身既显似瑞香，足可证其灵性已登善境，当无疑问。二人虽不为万物之灵，其实是很脆弱的。自从生在这世界上，就难免天灾人祸的威胁，甚多以求道者，在遇到人力不可挽救之危急情况下，诚心使用三宝，皆能大事化小，小事化无。这种例证多得不可胜数，无法在此一一例举。以上两点虽然极为宝贵，但却是任何人只要一求道，借着上帝的天命宝贵，立刻就可以得到的保障。此后就随个人的诚心、智慧及对真理之实践，而有或深或浅不同的体认了。如人饮水，冷暖自知。希望各位具有善根，有机会能得闻大道的先生女士，皆能入宝山而满载而归，皆能求道而同真善境。
Introduction to DAY. What is DAYI? DAO and MEII. What it is in DAOID. What do I get in RECID and DAOB? What do we need to receive DAOBI? What impact does receiving DAO have on MEDII? What can attest the validity of DAOI? What is DAO? Observing the cosmos and all the living beings consciously, Among all the earthly activities and phenomena, we will find the existence of the laws of nature. There is a supernatural origin which guides all the operations happening across the galaxy, the Earth, and the human beings. We call this source Tao. Tao existed before primordial time, and even before the universe was merged. It is the origin of the world, and it thereafter nurtures all the creatures and beings. Since it is unchangeable and does not evolve with time, it is the ultimate truth. It is what all saints and sages throughout human history had been searching for. The essence of Tao is the foundation of nature. The law or the power that existed before the universe was formed is beyond description, because there were no civilizations nor creatures, let alone languages. Since it cannot be applied any name, we simply call it Tao. After the world was merged, along with the mutations of the universe, we see the harmonious actions as exhibited in seasonal changes, rhythms of time and tide, and the balance of the ecosystem. We also find some conformity of human nature across various cultures. These prove the laws of nature. This is the extension of that original Tao when it is substantiated and materialized. It merged into everything that is within us. Now that we know Tao is present universally and yet difficult to be recognized, there have been prophets and preachers trying to make us know and understand the origin and the truth of life through various teachings and literature since the beginning of civilization. They were scattered around the world throughout history. As a result, great commandments were taught to disciples and goodness and badness were differentiated. These teachings varied, based on differences in culture, background, timing and the level of each individual's comprehension. However, they all tried to express and transmit to their descendants this creator and chief of the universe. It is God, or what we call Tao. As we get to know it more and more, we will realize that the essence of Tao and its effect covers every existence without any exceptions. Tao is actually the headwaters of all religions. It embraces the essence of all the preaching and teachings. And yet, it is superior to the system of belief. It is the nature, the universe itself. Tao or God represents the highest authority and power of nature. It is also the headstream and superior to all. It is the unchangeable principle. Understanding Tao allows us not only to discover the center of all religious belief, but also to communicate with the origin and the highest power of nature. We will then be able to relate ourselves to the truth of the universe. To probe further, Tao existed before the formation of all, yet it was not anterior, which means that the creation was embedded in it. Tao emerges into the creation, yet is not posterior, which means that it is not thereafter limited. Among those created, however large, they can be measured, however small, they can be detected. It is only Tao that cannot be measured of its immensity nor detected of its existence. Therefore, it is larger than the largest and leaves nothing excluded, and yet it can be smaller than the smallest and leaves nothing not penetrated. It is ubiquitous. It merges into and governs all. It is in charge of the space, the earth, human beings, all the creatures, and all existences. It penetrates and regulates the entire universe. It is the source of all the scriptures, sutras, as well as dharmas. It encompasses all the religions, and it is what makes one a Buddha or a saint. It is the single chief of all. And, above all, it is in charge of each individual too. It is the Divine Self. This is the true meaning of Tao. We should get to know it this way and rediscover our own invaluable treasure. So, to practice Tao is to revive one's own conscience as well as everyone else's and to act upon it accordingly. Then, all people can be of one spirit, all nations can be in peace like a family, and the great harmony will come true. How precious Tao is! Dao and Me. The significance of Tao is in its immensity and ubiquity. Its mightiness guides the universe to carry on with changing seasons and evolving creatures. The countless aspects of the natural phenomena seem so capricious and yet really in order and in cycles. This almighty being also resides in each of us. It is the Divine Self, the natural quality of a person. It enables us to see, to feel, to taste, to hear, and to move without learning. While we research the ultimate truth in the universe, we should turn in upon and see into ourselves to discover that Divine Self. We will find the rules that govern the universe also comply with the way we are. Tao is not something too far to reach, nor too mysterious to comprehend. It is nothing particular, but has to do with our daily lives. We cannot do without it. Every movement we make, in order to see, to touch, to feel and to think, is associated with Tao. Consider how many wonders are hidden in our body, how delicately our physical functions are carried out. For example, when we shake hands, the components involved would include the coordination of joints and muscles, the chemical reactions of energy, the transmission of information through nerve systems, and the actions occurring in our brain such as issuing orders, making judgments and analyzing situations. Even with the most advanced technology and the highest level of knowledge we have developed today, we cannot completely reconstruct such a function. Yet the ability to perform such a simple movement is there for all individuals, regardless of the level of a person's knowledge and his/her being a grown-up or a baby, a scholar or an illiterate. These are the kind of abilities we come equipped with naturally, without learning and being taught. It sits within us and is in charge of all. It is Tao, never diminishes nor inflates. Worldly knowledge acquired through learning can be forgotten. A gymnast can abandon his/her techniques and a musician can lose his/her skills without practicing. The essence of Tao and its extension are always in charge of the macro-universe, the nature, and the micro-universe, the human being as self. We are associated with it unconsciously since the first day. Because it encompasses the whole nature within us, we also call it native self. Tao is within and surrounding us. It needs not be worshipped nor debated over, because its existence is unconditional, regardless of race, color, nationality, religion or status. It is impartial and stays constant. In receiving Tao, we not only find the origin of the universe, but also the divine self. We get to know the highest power in the universe as well as the genuine nature in charge of self. We discover the ultimate truth of the cosmos as well as the integrity of ourselves. Recognizing that the laws which govern the universe also govern us makes us be able to return to our true nature. To probe further, the most essential concept in Tao is that we all possess it intrinsically. It is the wisdom and ability we were born with without learning or practicing. It is one's conscience, which is like the Spirit of God, the divine and immortal nature. It is invisible and intangible. For this reason, we call it genuine emptiness, which means that to be really empty, it goes beyond emptiness and can therefore have marvelous existence in it. Marvelous existence is the foundation for the sky, the earth, human beings, all the creatures, and all existences. With omnipotence, Tao is called Great Lord of all beings. This almighty being is not only in charge of the entire universe, but also in charge of oneself. So the proverb is, Tao is within self, which is the drive of all one's abilities. A physical body without Tao is useless. This is the treasure that we should all realize and fully explore. What it is indeed when we look around the world, we admire the miracles and wonders of nature. Countless things change and move simultaneously every second, and yet in order and in harmony. So do our bodies. Countless biochemical reactions and physical functions occur concurrently within our bodies. Without learning and thinking that comes subjectively, the thousands of activities that happen within us are the extension and action of Tao. And altogether, it is one single self. It functions naturally and automatically without the need for our intents to be involved. This is the effect of Tao within us. Tao is not only in control of the universe and nature, but also in charge of every human being in his/her own actions. In other words, it is the same source that governs us as well as everything else. Tao is invisible and intangible, but it has been working out its magic before day one. Thereafter, languages, cultures, religious scriptures, literature, and civilization were developed. They all originate from Tao functioning within us. People don't realize it is Tao that has been residing and working within us and have used soul to represent the confusing and yet irrefutable being. Because it is eternal and intangible, we also call it true self. This true self is the most abundant, brilliant, and imperishable being. Let us take a look at our tangible body and see if it can be the true self. We know the pictures taken throughout one's life show different faces and expressions. We recognize people by face, but our looks change and are not permanent. The handicapped, with impaired arms or legs, can also lead a complete life. One with a transplanted animal heart is still a human being. Even our brain cells keep decreasing and changing every second from the moment we were born. Therefore, the physical body is only the interim residence of the true self. Though it seems so real, solid and alive, it turns into dirt eventually. We call it false self because of its tentative and transient nature. By recognizing the difference between the true self and the false self, we understand the reason and importance for us to receive Tao. Luckily, we are given the opportunity of receiving Tao and learning the three treasures. The three treasures are straightforward yet profound. The meaning and details of them will be illustrated through the rite of receiving Tao. Here, we only discuss two issues. First, by receiving Tao, the true self gets plucked out. It leads to our conscience. Upon the time when material pursuance surpasses spiritual seeking, giving up the true self only makes us a walking corpse. In order to fulfill and satisfy the sensational desires of the false self, we may commit wrongdoings and harm others, eventually creating troubles for ourselves. Our inner conscience is identified and enlightened by receiving Tao. Thus, the body gets to work with the spirit in a mutually beneficial and harmonious way, making our lives joyful and meaningful. Second, by receiving Tao, the front door or main gate of our bodies gets opened. It leads us to conscience, mercy and wisdom. When we leave a house, we leave through the front door. If the front door is locked, we may have to leave through the back door, or even by breaking the window or jumping off the balcony. We may fall and get hurt by doing so. Our body is like a house, and our soul is the master who lives in the house. One day, when the body is aged and depleted and the soul has to leave, we can imagine its horror if it cannot leave through the correct exit. This is the pain and discomfort human beings experience at the coming of death and after death. As we know, for most people, when they are dying, their body shows stiffness, and signs of helplessness and confusion. After we receive Tao, the door of life and death will be opened. Being able to receive Tao and the three treasures while having the door to heaven opened, We had the opportunity to recognize the true self and the Tao that dwells within us. We are going to treat people and the world with conscience and make our lives more meaningful. We can transcend life and death. Within 100 years, we will be able to return to where we came from. Therefore, the heavenly Tao is also the way to return back to heaven. To probe further, the enlightenment of Tao is superior to studying thousands of sutras. This is the value of Tao. The enlightenment of Tao opens the main gate, the front door, which is the entrance to heaven. It gives us the guarantee to be exempted from rebirth cycles and to reach eternity. The superiority of this enlightenment lies in that it surpasses Buddhas and saints, it exceeds the scope of sutras and dharmas, and it transcends the universe. Tao is therefore source of all sutras, king of all dharmas, mother of all Buddhas, and creator of the universe. Transcendence of rebirth cycles leads to eternity. Being imperishable, Tao never deteriorates, and we had never lost it at all. Hence Tao is the direct way back to heaven. What do I get in RECI beginning DAO as mentioned earlier? By receiving Tao, we act upon our conscience, gain more wisdom, and find the door to heaven. In addition to these basics, we also benefit from the following for our lifetime. Being away from sufferings and closer to happiness. The troubles and worries we face in our daily lives mostly result from our disregard of the true self. Receiving Tao helps us to recognize the Tao that has been dwelling in us and to restore the beauty of the true self, so that our behavior and mind is free from being controlled by the earthly pleasures and being swayed by the losses and gains of the material world. Since our minds are cultivated spiritually, devils, thus, away from disaster and calamities. Tao has been passed on through generations to one single master since the beginning of human history. The thread of its passage weaves through ancient civilizations, including China and India. However, in recent centuries, human beings had been trapped by materialism and a weaker sense of right and wrong. Wars prompted the development of powerful lethal weapons. In reviewing the thousands of years of human history, we realize, in just less than 100 years, there had been 2 major world wars, which caused numerous killings and tragedies. The abuse of science and technology has also destroyed the ecology, causing damage to the ozonosphere and the unbalance of the climate. The corruption of human beings' minds has called the natural disasters to come. The human have created calamity. God, with His mercy, makes Tao available to everybody in order to save good people. After we receive Tao, with the true meaning of Tao in mind, we will be conscientious. We can use the 3 treasures whenever something dangerous and uncontrollable happens to us. We will be able to get away from bad encounters. This is a confessed fact. See, transcending life and death. Life is a mixture of happiness and bitterness. Throughout the journey of life, we experience birth, growth, aging, illness, and death. Joys are momentary and wealth is here today and gone tomorrow. Rather than seeking the pleasure of material life, the wise make full use of their lifetime searching the true meaning of life and eternity. In old times, doubt could only be received after harsh self-cultivation. Among the hermits looking for the master in order to receive Tao, only very few could obtain it. Whereas in this century, Tao is allowed to be spread and transmitted through the authorized masters to the truth seekers. The master points out the main gate of life and death, assuring the completeness of our true self. With the true self as our guide, which keeps us away from evil and greed, it helps us think, speak, and act in accordance with our conscience and intuition. Death then becomes the return of our soul to the eternal and peaceful home where we came from. Thus, we will have lasting joy. The achieving sacred beings, the enlightenment of Tao, which reveals the true self, is like the planting of the seed of righteousness and integrity. Through self-cultivation and self-improvement, the nurturing of wisdom, kindness, and purity, it will blossom and produce the fruit of sacred mind and eternal life. In time of overwhelming utilitarianism, Tao is the lighthouse to the truth. Receiving Tao, and then cultivating ourselves, not only improves our own lives, but also gives us the opportunity to better the world. After we receive Tao, we act upon our conscience and care for people around us. We cherish Tao and disregard personal disadvantages. Then we make an effort to spread the message of Tao to the world, in order for everyone to benefit from it. We are devoting ourselves to the work of God, and certainly will achieve spiritual perfection in both this world and the world after life. To probe further, the supremacy of Tao is based on the heavenly decree of God, by which Grand Masters can perform the passage of Tao. The enlightenment of Tao from Grand Masters directly opens the main gate of our bodies, which revives our divine nature. It reveals that heaven is not beyond oneself. Instead, one's true self merges into the entire universe. This is the supremacy of Tao. 1. With the heavenly decree, the enlightenment of Tao is extremely profound and marvelous. It cannot be completely expressed by any words of languages. It is not recorded on any scriptures or sutras. It cannot be described by preaching, nor can it be acquired by human intelligence, nor derived from knowledge and experience, nor achieved from gifted talents. Because the above-mentioned all have to be created and can be eliminated, which means that they cannot last forever themselves. They all bear partiality and cannot be applied universally. Hence, they cannot surpass life cycles, nor can they reach eternity. 2. The wonder of the effects and omnipotence of Tao is beyond words. It is the wisdom that does not come from learning. It is what we acquire from God and possess intrinsically. It is the same divine heart before the creation of the universe. It is conscience, the holy heart. It is the divine and immortal nature, the Spirit of God. 3. Tao is too marvelous to be described. It makes us know without learning and function without practicing. It is a prior wisdom, perception, potency, and ability. It is not constrained by words or languages. It functions without thinking, intents, or even actions. However, it can create the sky, the world, the human, all beings, and all existences. All these, after being created, still cannot carry on without Tao even for one moment. Tao is therefore called Great Lord of all beings. 4. Without Tao, the stars and planets in the sky wouldn't he had been in order. The sun and the moon couldn't he had illuminated or revolved properly. Then the yin-yang energies wouldn't he had circulated, and, as a result, this world wouldn't he had been suitable for all of us to live in. 5. Without Tao, the 5 primary elements of the earth, metal, wood, water, fire, and soil, wouldn't he had been balanced and complemented one another, which could have put the entire world in chaos. Mountains would have collapsed, lands would have cracked, and oceans would have dried up. Likewise, this world wouldn't he had been an environment for us to live in. 6. Without Tao, we, human beings, wouldn't he had been able to walk, to see, to hear, to speak, or to move. Our physical bodies would deteriorate quickly into a pile of soil in 100 days. 7. If one really comprehends the effects and omnipotence of Tao, and can practice accordingly and persistently, one can communicate with and be united with God. This is the absolute truth. It is a glory and marvel beyond description. Therefore, it not after death that one becomes a Buddha. It is when one is still alive that one achieves being a Buddha. And to be a Buddha is to revive and hold on to one's divine and original nature. This is what we benefit from attaining and practicing Tao. What do we need to receive Tao? We had discussed the many benefits we obtain after receiving Tao. Some would wonder why there is so much given to us. Of course, we should realize it comes from God's grace toward human beings. This allows Tao to be spread around the world, especially at the approaching of the worldwide calamity. People with merit and conscientious mind will have the opportunity of learning about Tao and the way back to heaven. It always holds true that people who had the fortune of receiving Tao are derived from the tree of righteous ancestors. In addition, during the passage of Tao, it is required that we make promises to God that, after we receive Tao, we will keep in mind the true meaning of Tao and put it into action in our daily life. What we speak and what we do will all be based on our conscience. After we receive Tao, we offer help to those in need of it, and do our best to indicate Tao to more people so that they can all benefit from the grace of God. After we attain these three treasures, we promise not to tell them to any other person. These three treasures can only be transmitted through authorized masters in front of God. If we reveal them to any person, they become invalid to the person, and we also defy the heavenly decree. All the promises required are reasonable and achievable. It goes with our nature. If we practice and keep the promises, we will be able to become a wiser and a better person. We will become merciful, and nurture the good seed of doubt planted in our mind. One last thing to mention is that one of the reasons we are able to receive Tao is due to the good deeds of our ancestors. Therefore, as we persistently practice Tao, our ancestors will also benefit from it, and so will our descendants. As long as you are prepared for the above mentioned, you are qualified to receive Tao, no matter what nationality, race, or religion you belong to. Notes: in order to be exempted from the rebirth cycles, to avoid the ordeal of hell, to alleviate the suffering and misfortunes in our lives, and to be able to return back to heaven after death and enjoy permanent happiness, we have to receive Tao. And the general qualifications are: 1. To be with a compassionate heart, and to be fortunate enough to be born in a time when Tao is available to the public. 2. To have sowed the seeds of virtue by helping many people and offering lots of charitable services in the previous lives. This is the divine affinity with God. 3. To have ancestors with beneficences and welfare work as well. 4. To meet the introducer and guarantor who indicate the way to attain Tao to me. It is very likely that, in the previous lives, we did charitable services together, or we self-cultivated together.